pure of heart and awakened by fury. That's what I am.
What is going on, everybody? Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 82 spoilers have dropped. We got some new revelations with Goku and his parents that I'm excited to share with you guys. I'm joined here today with UnrealEntGaming. We're about to dive into these spoilers and break down our thoughts and opinions, as well as get some feedback from you, the fans, and see exactly where everyone is on this current wavelength of revelations. But based on the panels leaked, it seems as though Goku has remembered his parents, finally. We're about to see if the secret to defeating Gas is going to be unlocked here. During this revelation, in one of these panels, you see Goku's eyes shrivel up. See an image of Goku staring back at Bardock and Gine with their hands on the other end of that Saiyan space pod from Dragon Ball Minus. This was also featured in the Broly movie, and in some sort of revelation, he remembers them and then powers up. A new aura surrounds his body. We then see a flashback of Bardock versus Gas. So I'd like to know your opinion on this, Alex. What do you think is going to happen after this point?
I really don't think that he's powering up, but I will say, I don't really have a problem with Goku kind of remembering them, because at that point, I think Goku was maybe 3-4 years old, just about to leave Planet Vegeta before, Frieza had destroyed it. So obviously, when you're that age, you can kind of tell and remember faces. So it's not as though he remembers having a conversation or he's training with him. He recognizes his parents. He just remembers the last thing that, he had seen on Planet Vegeta, which was, Gine and Bardock. So I think it's interesting because the only thing I'm kind of worried about is perhaps maybe, something falling in place where Goku learns of Gas, about Gas's weakness through maybe something that he had inherited through Bardock, which I think is something that I don't want to see, because then it's just something genetic, right? Imagine if Bardock already knew what Gas's weakness was, and since Bardock is dead and it's been 40 years, how the hell will Goku know if Bardock isn't around and they don't have the Dragon Balls to, wish him to come back to life? So I hope it's not something that he just inherits genetically. So I think that would be a huge cop-out, but I don't really have an issue with, just Goku remembering them. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, as I'm sure you have as well. So many people are like, oh, but it's Dragon Ball Minus, and it devalues the essence of why Goku is special and stuff. I disagree with that. It's not as though, something, just mind-blowingly awful had just happened, in my opinion, at least. I mean, I think things could be worse, but I'm very curious to know how Gas loses, and I'm kind of riding with the idea that at some point, Gas is going to lose, not to Granolah, but to either Goku, which is more probable now, or Vegeta. Now, I think that if we're going to do that, if either one of them are going to beat Gas, which I think logically it should be Goku, considering how Bardock had beat Gas 40 years ago. So let's just say if Goku beats Gas, you have to give the victory for Granolah having to be the one to kill Elec, because that was the dude that killed his mom. That was the guy that lied to him. So I think that only makes sense, right? Gas had a beef with Goku's dad for 40 years. They duked it out. So, having the son, just rise up and having his comeuppings over Gas, I think would make sense. But in this case here, I don't want to see anybody else get the victory, or at least be the one to kill Elec if it's not Granolah. If it's not Granolah, it'll be trash. So I think that they should save that kind of idea or narrative, for that scenario, for having to have Granolah be the one to kill Elec. But for Gas, I don't know. I'm a little worried because we just, at this point, as of this recording, we don't know where this might go. But in terms of Goku just simply remembering his parents' face, I don't have an issue with that, because it's not as though, he's wanting to wish them back all of a sudden or whatever. He's just simply remembering them. Now, where we go from there, I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows, and that's the thing. I don't have a problem either with him just remembering his parents. For the first time, he's remembering them and his Saiyan lineage. This does feel like a bit of fan service. We haven't really seen this from the very beginning. It's just been Amnesia Kakarot from the very beginning of Dragon Ball. Now that we see him finally tap into these memories, what do you guys think is going to happen? Is he going to get a new power buff? What do you think? You think he's going to get a new transformation? Is he going to master Ultra Instinct, where it's going to be another power buff and actually be able to harness it? MUI did take a bit of a nerf after the Moro arc. They kind of ripped themselves into a hole there, but we saw that coming. Will he get all of that power back?
He already mastered Ultra Instinct, right? He already mastered Ultra Instinct. Whis already confirmed that at the beginning of the chapter. He literally verbatim says, yeah, you mastered it, but there's tiers to it. There's levels to Ultra Instinct. For example, I can only use it to such an extent as compared to the Grand Priest and so on and so forth. So he mastered it, but he's at the very bottom. He's at the latter portion of the hierarchy of Ultra Instinct per se. So no, I don't see a new transformation. I just see UI being a thing. If Gas is going to fall to Goku, it might as well be to Ultra Instinct, because we haven't seen Ultra Instinct since Chapter 73, and that was last year, like at the beginning of the year, somewhat towards the beginning of the year. So we haven't even seen that at all, and that's been a form that's been nerfed thus far in this arc. And I think that if we were to see a scenario play out to where Gas loses, then I think it's only probable and more likely for him to fall to MUI Goku and nothing else. But that's just me. I mean, what do you think?
It has to be MUI Goku, but like you said, they kind of nerfed it with these tiers, and they kind of have to. I feel as though they're going to have to show him tapping into this higher tier, even visually if they can, because this is something new. When you have this type of revelation with all of the history of the Saiyans, with this battlefield and all of the history, and him seeing flashbacks of Bardock, it seems as though Goku might tap into something else. We're going to have to see a higher level of power. Will we see a different physical transformation? Who knows? I kind of want it though. I don't know if they're going to go that route with all the transformations already given during this arc. Goku tapping into a higher tier of power in MUI is definitely the key right now, and also whatever revelation he got from Bardock's memories may be the answer. If that's the case. I mean, like you said, you don't really want it to be where it's at the point where Goku just remembers how to defeat Gas because of the bloodline or whatever, or the secret technique through his father's memories. It's kind of iffy there. There's got to be a part of Goku that realizes that, hey, if Bardock defeated this guy all of those years ago, why can't I? His son should be able to find out this weakness. With all of Goku's battle prowess and even training with the gods, he should be able to figure it out too. If Bardock was able to do it, then Goku should be able to do it because he's his son. This is kind of similar to Goku to Gohan versus Cell. It's a father-son type of lineage thing.
Yeah, but that depends on what the weakness is. It could be his horns. It could be simply, you know, he has like a expiration when it comes down to like maybe his stamina. Like, who knows? So I think that's what's interesting, is like we don't really know what this dude's weakness is. But whatever it is, I'm hoping that it's not something where it's like such a cop-out, because obviously I think it might be. But if, like I said, if he were to fall to anybody in this particular scenario with Goku, he should fall and get beaten by Goku using Mastered Ultra Instinct. Because Gas in the previous chapter told Goku, like, you don't even know who you are. Like, you don't possess like that same fighting spirit like he did, referencing Bardock. So, you know, I think more so now, this is the best time for Goku to spring into action, control his emotions, use whatever he has left, and kind of try to go back into that, you know, tier of power to show Gas, like, yo, you might be the strongest in the so-called universe as of right now, or at least you was, but, you know, you can always be surpassed, and here's an example of it. So I'm not sure where this goes. And remember, we don't really know the wish that Elec had made in terms of like, you know, the repercussions, like, because obviously if you want to become the strongest, in Granola's case, he had to sacrifice like a huge portion of his life. So we don't even know what may happen with that. For all we know, he might not lose to anybody. Gas might just end up beating himself because of the repercussions of Elec's wish to make him the strongest. So my final thoughts are, for Bardock and Gine, it's cool to see them there. Like, we've seen them in Dragon Ball Super Broly. And again, this becomes a thing where people fight over Dragon Ball Minus. They're like, oh, Dragon Ball Minus this and Dragon Ball Minus that. It is what it is. It depends on where you stand, you know, like on that, you know, side of the playing field. But I think that with Gas, he might end up beating himself. And if that does happen, then I guess I'm okay with it, because we still don't know what like the bargaining was for Elec to make him the strongest. And I think that's going to be very important. And to that, I guess we'll see what happens. But I mean, this is exciting stuff, I guess, if you're a huge Bardock fan, because you get to see, you know, Bardock be a thing in the manga. Unfortunately, we didn't get Broly yet, even though, yes, Broly is canon to the manga, because we've seen him be referenced several times during the Moral arc, even, you know, showcasing pages of him, you know, during their battle with Gogeta. So I just think going forward with this so far, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what the weakness is. I'm just hoping that it's not something that's passed through a bloodline, because if it's passed through a bloodline, that just makes Goku more busted than I can even imagine. Because imagine just learning of something just genetically through your inheritance of your father, and then thus that makes you even more, you know, broken than how you were prior. So those are my thoughts on that.
I gotta say though, I really like the way they're building up Bardock's character, because back in the day, it was kind of iffy. It was back and forth with how they kind of handled it with the Future Bardock movie. In some regards, he wasn't really the best of fathers, just like Goku, but they are giving him a more of a righteous warrior path, and I really like it. Him protecting Granolah and Monaito definitely helps out this version of Bardock that we really haven't seen from the past, and it really fleshes this new wave of Dragon Ball Super Bardock, you know? I like these moments because it kind of bonds him together with Goku, and him having these flashbacks, it makes the two become more of one, you know what I'm saying? It's still a different type of vibe. I want to see what this does for his power, because this is a bit of a spiritual type of thing for me, in my opinion as well, because even in the previous chapter, Gas says you don't even know who you are. Now that Goku finally knows who he is, Kakarot finally knows who he is, we're in this area full of Saiyan legacy, Saiyan history. What happens when you know who you are? You tap into some serious power. This goes for real life too. It's a real life lesson, and I actually like that. That difference of knowing who you are and the power that comes out of it, I feel like that will really be a good theme to drive this off of. Let's see the difference in Goku's fighting ability if he's fighting as Kakarot, the proud Saiyan. This kind of reminds me of the World Tournament where Goku had pointed the Ki Blast at Supreme Kai during the Buu arc and was about to eliminate Beerus, but for that moment we saw Kakarot. Those moments right there, that's that raw Saiyan energy, and that's something we needed in Dragon Ball Super from Goku, that Dragon Ball Z Goku. That's just my opinion. I'd love to know yours. Let us know in the comment section below. How are you guys feeling about this arc? Make sure you guys give a really in-depth take on it. And while you're here, make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It really helps out a lot. Check out Alex's channel, UnrealEntGaming. Any last words, brother?
I just think that, again, like Goku's always had like that determination. We've seen that with the Moro fight, because he even tried to spare Moro several times, and then he really took him serious towards the end. But again, he just prolonged that without thinking twice, because nobody knew that he was going to merge and become one with the planet. But I think when Goku gets serious, that's when things become a problem for the opposition, and I think that's what's about to happen. But by no means is it going to happen with Goku gaining a new form or merging that with something. I think that the best way to go about this is illustrate and demonstrate the features and feats of what Ultra Instinct is and could be when Goku is just at his absolute peak and when he's absolutely serious about getting the job done. So that's just what I think.
Man, I'm really hoping if we get Dragon Ball Z Goku versus what we've seen with Dragon Ball Super Goku, that locked on Dragon Ball Z Goku where he's just focused and angry, that's what I missed. And I hope that this Saiyan flashback kind of brings that back out.
Well, I mean, now he's in a position where he has to, I mean, at this point, he has to figure something out. And if backed into a corner, he has no other choice but to go through Gas. So I think that the only way he can do that is by using Ultra Instinct, however it is that he taps back into it. And once that happens, I guess Gas is done. And then we're going to move on to see what happens with Bardock and Granolah, and then just wrap up the arc from there, I guess.
The sky's the limit here, guys. Exciting stuff. We'll see you guys next time. Like I said, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that bell icon, and stay tuned. Until then, Young Money, baby.